and someone who will remain nameless tried to tempt me with more graded Clone Wars figures. I managed to resist.
Come on, you can tell them the name of that person.
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah. All right, welcome to A Long Time Ago with me, Adam. Over there is Martin. You okay, Martin?
I'm good, thanks, Adam. You?
Yeah, all right. So we're back this week for some March Madness of our own. We're going to do some pickups a little bit later on in the episode, but first off, we're a couple of hours after the trailer for the Acolyte has dropped. Give us your thoughts.
I mean, my initial thoughts on the trailer is it looks really, really good. I mean, I'm quite excited. I mean, trailers are trailers, and you have to remember that they're meant to make you want to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, initially I'm like, yeah, this looks really, really good. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that my favorite thing about Star Wars is the Sith, and the how the Sith took control of the Old Republic, and and the storyline all the way through the original 6 films. So yeah, this could tie in nicely with how Darth Plagueis and Palpatine, got Palpatine into power. But there's a lot of assumption on my part, really, that this is even going to be anything to do with Darth Plagueis, and it might be a bit too early to see Palpatine.
I was going to say, like, when's this supposed to be set? Is it that far back?
Well, I've read varying things. I've read 50 years or 100 years before the Phantom Menace. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, 50 years, you'd probably have a young Palpatine, wouldn't you? A young Naboo senator, because he's got to be over 50 when you meet him in the Phantom Menace, I would have thought, or at least late 40s. I mean, I don't know. But who knows? But I mean, there's quite clearly something going on in the trailer that Jedi are being killed. And obviously there's that bit with the red lightsaber at the end, so none of them have seen that before, because as far as we're concerned, the Sith haven't been around for a millennium. So yeah, that's really interesting. I'm not going to go on too much about the trailer. I mean, I hope it's good. We've been burnt before, haven't we? And a lot of the things we've heard. Sorry,
I was just going to say, this looks like something, I would say different, but not in the terms of Andor side of things. I feel like we're actually going to get something closer to original Star Wars stuff, with the Jedi versus the Sith, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But with totally new characters, and I think that's something that could be quite refreshing.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, I mean, we're going to see some. Well, I come on to characters that we might see in a minute, but I would say, obviously we've heard a lot of the stuff's coming from the maker of this show and the cast, and how they say it's it's going to be not Star Wars, and how it's going to be females ruling Star Wars, which which is nothing wrong with, don't get me wrong, but I mean, there's no need to come out and start saying that, because it kind of riles everybody up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So there's already a lot of suspicion about this show, but I have to say the trailer's got me really excited for it. So yeah, in terms of characters we might see, I mean, obviously Yoda is about at this time, and he's going to be on the Jedi Council, so I'm sure we're going to be seeing some Yoda in this show. And I'm going to flash up an image now, and if you look to the right, furthest Jedi to the right,
Plo Koon, potentially,
potentially Plo Koon. I saw that and I was like, because and then of course I was like, well, it can't be Plo Koon, because this is set way before. But I did some research, and when he dies in Revenge of the Sith, he's 385 years old. So it could be Plo Koon. So there's another character that we might be seeing again, and it wouldn't be me, not being me, without a small gripe. There's one thing with modern Star Wars or Disney Star Wars that I've noticed. There's two things. One is when lightsabers hit each other, they spark all of a sudden, which they never used to do. The other thing is lightsabers now the handles for the lightsabers, the hilts,
Yeah,
and the actual blades themselves,
everything
they look
looks really
really
chunky.
chunky. I mean, look at
Yeah,
this. I mean, oh, try that again. That
yeah,
is huge. I mean,
yeah.
I don't understand why they've made it so big.
Did they do
They look odd.
much? Going back to the original sort of Star Wars stuff, did they
Mm,
do anything when they did the remakes of the films? Because I seem to remember the originals. You'd see Obi-Wan holding his lightsaber, and it's like a pencil with a
yeah.
really thin blade. And I'm trying to think if, like, the remastered versions, did they thicken up the blade a little bit in that? Or
No, they never thickened the blade up, but what they did color correct it, because there were
Mm,
certain scenes where it was basically they used the light reflecting off the material they use on cinema screens, and they'd flash that light at the stick, if you like, he was using as a lightsaber,
yeah,
and then that would create the beam. So they color corrected that in the special editions,
mm.
made it look more realistic. But I mean, even the prequels and the original trilogy, the blades, they're not paper, pencil thin, but they're
No,
a lot
no, I
thinner
was
than the
exaggerating there. Yeah,
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 they're a lot thinner than these, and the fact that the
absolutely. Yeah.
Jedi could do all the twirls and everything that they do in the prequels, these look like they'd have trouble and they just drop them if they tried to do anything like that. But it's a minor gripe,
It's a minor gripe, yeah.
It doesn't
You
matter,
got
but
to have one.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So, that's it for the Acolyte, for our talk on that, yeah?
Yeah, I
You wanna
think so. Yeah.
get on to some March Madness pickups, and I call it March Madness, as it's March Madness of our own, because Martin's got a hell of a lot to get through. Um, I think I said in the last pickups, that my wallet was remaining closed because I was running out, so I've only got the 3 to show us tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
That wallet stayed tight and closed.
For all of, like, a couple of hours, I think.
Yeah.
So, do you
Um,
wanna kick things off?
Yeah, I'll kick off. Well, obviously, it will come as no surprise to anyone who watched our last Sandown video. What I've picked up mostly this time
Mm,
round. Anyone who's watched the last Sandown video we did when we went there in February, I picked up three Gendy oh my god, Tartakovsky Clone Wars figures.
yeah.
I picked up a Yoda, an Obi-Wan, and a Count Dooku, and I instantly fell in love with them. I love the style of them. I loved I love the animated pictures on the cards. So I was like, right, I've got to get some more of these. So the first thing I did was come across a General Grievous, and it's a stunner, mainly because it's graded.
Yes, yeah.
You slightly
We
hinted
previewed
to it.
that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I picked up a Cartoon Network Clone Wars General Grievous, which was a UKG 85%. And someone who will remain nameless tried to tempt me with more graded Clone Wars figures. I managed to resist.
Come on, you can tell them the name of that person.
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah.
But I also picked up an Asajj Ventress
Cool. Yeah.
Clone Wars figure. This one's really cool. I really love the design they used for her in the micro series. It's a really evil looking Asajj Ventress, and the picture of her on the front of the card, it's absolutely immense. Incidentally, have you managed to check out the micro series yet?
I haven't yet, no. No.
I
Is it
rewatched it the other day just to sort
yeah.
of remark, because I haven't seen it for years, and it's so good. It's so
Is it
good.
on Disney or is it
It's on Disney Plus.
on
Yeah,
Disney? Okay. I'll
yeah,
add it to the
yeah,
watch list.
yeah.
Got a lot on there, but I will. I'll get around to it at some point.
I also picked up two different Anakin Skywalkers. One's Padawan Anakin, and one's Jedi Knight Anakin. One from series 1 and 2, and one from series 3. The second one from series 3. So I think I'll hold it there and fire it over to you for the next be one of your pickups.
Well, you pick up things that you instantly fall in love with, don't you? Like you just said.
Mm.
So it'll be no surprise that I've picked up some more astromech droids with it.
No, not at all.
Now, once upon a time, I think I did say that I wasn't going to pick up any of the gimmicky type droids, that we see with the Droid Factory. And technically,
Right.
I haven't. I wanted to
Yeah.
pick up things that are just sort of canon, and this is kind of fallen off the canon side of things, but it was too good to turn down. It's a R3D3, which you will find on Star Tours
Oh, cool.
back in
Oh,
the
that's
day. I don't
awesome.
know if that's still there, but yeah, really cool little droid. He's
I'm
got like a clear
fairly
dome.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure when we were in the queue, there's like all these old astromechs just sitting to the left hand side. I think they're all there. So yeah, that's all. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh.
That's really cool.
Yes, so that's my first. Do you want me to do all three?
Yeah, go on, go deal three. Yeah,
Because I struck a deal with that one. I got a nice little R5D4 with like a what would you call that, foil
yeah. Holographic
card,
type yeah,
holographic
foil
card.
card. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So that's R5D4 on the Power of the Force card. Both these are in
Nice.
pretty good nick, but really, really cool little droid. Obviously, I've got that's not going to stand up there. Obviously, I've got R5D4 in the latest run of vintage
Vintage
collection, the one that
collection.
they've
Yeah,
released recently.
yeah.
But I really like that one, and I quite like the Power of the Force card backs.
They're quite good. Yeah. It's
Mm.
quite a chunky droid, that one, isn't he? He looks like he's a bit of a beefy
Yeah, yeah. In
droid.
comparison
Yeah.
to he's a little bit taller,
Oh,
but I think he was, wasn't he?
someone's emojiing.
Don't know why it keeps doing that.
Yeah.
Right, and then the final one for me this week is from the Clone Wars,
Ooh.
R7A7.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
Ahsoka's droid.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you knew
That's
that.
Yeah, so that's one of the ones that's coming out in the 3-pack,
It is, yeah,
the
which is
TVC
probably
3-pack.
why they've appeared on eBay a little bit more.
Yeah.
People are trying to get the money for them now. I
That's
don't
good.
know.
That's as far as I'm aware, that TVC 3-pack still isn't available to pre-order in this country. If anyone knows any different, please let us know, because I'm
Yeah,
desperate to pre-order it so I don't miss it. But
yeah.
yeah, that's a lovely looking droid, that
Well,
one.
you're going to the States soon, so you might pick it up there, would you?
Oh, well, no, it's pre-order, isn't it? So I'd have to be there when it was released,
Oh,
and I
of
don't
course,
I'll
yeah,
be, yeah.
true.
But
Yeah,
yeah, so that's a really nice
yeah.
threesome there. Yeah, that's good.
And I've actually come to really like that sort of card shape as well, because it's not
Mm,
quite as big as the other ones.
yeah.
The bubbles are quite big, but
Mm,
the card itself fits in. It doesn't take up as much space, which is
yeah.
quite appealing when you've not got much space to display things.
No,
So,
definitely. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll never choose a card back that doesn't have an image of the character from a scene in whatever on
mm,
it. But I have to say, I do like those, because that's a Clone Wars card, is it?
yeah,
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 Clone Wars. Yeah, I really like those Clone Wars cards. And having started collecting the micro series Clone Wars cards, I've come to realize how many different Clone Wars carded
yeah.
action figures there are. There's
I
several
didn't
different
realise either. Yeah.
waves, or sorry, ranges of them. Yeah, so
Mm,
yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, well
Yeah,
done,
so
mate.
I've got a couple of those Clone Wars ones now, because I think I got R4P17 I picked up at Echo, didn't I? So
Mm,
one day
yeah.
they'll all display nicely, I expect.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
day,
one day.
yes. So let's get it back to you then.
Yeah. So I carry on with my micro series Clone Wars pickups. I picked up a Dirge. Now you're not gonna know who Dirge is, or Dirge. He's the
No.
main villain for season 1 and 2 of the micro series. Obi-Wan has to fight him. Yeah,
Okay.
he's like he kind of he can be destroyed, but then he can sort of fix himself back together again.
Right.
That's the best way I can really describe it. Someone probably a better
Yeah.
job than I, but he's quite a cool villain, and he appears in quite a lot of the comics as well. The Dark Horse,
Mm.
the old school Dark Horse comics. So yeah, you should check him out. He's cool character. And the final one I picked up in that range was a clone trooper. Which is kind of a controversial figure, because I picked up just the all white clone trooper.
Yeah.
But I found out that there's 4 clone troopers. There's
Yeah.
the same clone trooper with a red stripe, the same clone trooper with a yellow stripe, and the same clone trooper with a blue stripe. And
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, so I haven't got those 3 coloured ones. So a mission for you when you go to Echo is if you see any of those, is to pick those
Look
up
out
for
for
me.
those. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's typical, Hasbro were doing it back then as well. It's like, oh yeah, we'll just slap a stripe on it and then
Yeah.
repackage
Yeah.
it and stick it back out. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I did order and pay for a Mace Windu Clone Wars micro series carded figure, and they delivered me a Count Dooku. So I had to send that back.
Oh no!
And then I got a refund as soon as I sent it back. So I'm assuming I'm not going to get the Mace Windu. So I'm down a Mace Windu, unfortunately.
And then how many more? So there's 4 that you've mentioned there that
there's
that
4
you haven't got. Is that would those 4 complete the set?
Yeah, I believe so. There's 4. There's 4 3-packs you can get. I think they're like DVDs, special packs you can get. And Keith Guppy, I put in the notes in our last Sandown video that there was 4 you can get. So I did a bit of research, and I'm in an hour whether to get them, because basically they just have the same figures that you've got in those in them, except for one, and one of them's got Saincy Teen in it, who's another Jedi. And is it worth buying all of those just for one figure?
Him.
So I've decided I'm not going to bother picking the 3-packs up. I'm just going to stick with the carded ones.
The singles,
yeah. So 4 to go. No rush to get them really now.
No. They look good. They display well.
Yeah. I mean, you can know if you can see them just on that shelf there. Yeah, they look quite nice, and they don't sort of detract from the vintage collection. And I've also put some Shadows of the Empire cards up there as well, because I quite like those.
Yeah, that's the ones next to it. Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah,
what those ones were. Yeah,
I'm trying not to think about that rabbit hole, because there's a whole other collection there. So don't tempt me.
Maybe one day.
So I thought to myself, well, that's all I've got really pickups this week. It's a nice amount, don't get me wrong. And then of course I get the email from Star Action Figures, and your next wave has come in the post. So I just picked up. I won't go on too much about this, because everybody has talked about it. But I got in the post VC 306, which was Count Dooku, which is an absolute stunner. Lovely card back, lovely image. Everyone's raving about the image, and I do genuinely like it, but I would have preferred the image. There's a moment in episode 2, just as he's about to duel Yoda, he pulls the lightsaber to his face like that. And I always think that's my favorite Count Dooku image. So if I could, there's one minor gripe, I'd probably change that to that. I also picked up in that wave was VC 309, which was the Phase 1 clone trooper. But yeah, that's a Phase 1 clone. I'm just going to reiterate that again. It's a Phase 1 clone. You're going to think Martyn's going mad, but you need to know that. The image on that card back is absolutely stunning. Brilliant. Also in that wave was VC 308, which was Finn. Meh. It's completionist picked it up. And then there was also Cassian Andor, which is a re-release, which is annoying, because I've decided now not to pick up the re-releases when they come out. So I've got that one as a spare. So maybe we'll stick that in a giveaway in the future, because it's just going to sit in a box anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's been a quite hefty March, really, unfortunately. But
that's our March Madness, eh? Yeah. So obviously, is that it from you?
That's all my pickups, yeah.
That's it, yeah. So in order to make sure you don't miss out on that future giveaway, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like this video if you enjoyed it, of course. And we'll catch you in the next one. We'll see you later.
Bye.